Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tax Firm Innovation, Assessing and Enhancing Your Current Processes. This webcast is brought to you by CPA Practice Advisor Magazine and SafeSend. I'm Gail Perry, Editor-in-Chief of CPA Practice Advisor, and I'll be your moderator today. Before we get started, I'd like to explain how CPE works for this webcast. The webcast qualifies for 1 credit of continuing professional education. If you plan to earn CPE for attending this session, you must stay with us for at least 50 minutes. In addition, we will display 4 polling questions during the webcast. You'll need to record an answer for at least 3 of the questions, as this is our verification that you are still watching the webcast. Later today, you'll receive an email from CPA Practice Advisor that contains a link to your CPE certificate, assuming you met the requirements for CPE. Please note that we can give CPE credit for multiple people watching on the same computer. So if there are others in your office who would like to attend this event at the same computer, please have them join you now. And at the end of the event, we'll provide an opportunity for you to send us their email addresses so they too can receive CPE credit. At any time, you can enter any questions you might have in the Ask a Question box provided on the bottom of your screen, and our speaker will try to get to as many questions as possible during the presentation. Questions not answered during this live webinar will be addressed by the speaker afterwards via email. Today, we're joined by Stephen Lyon, Lead Product Marketer at SafeSend, and now we are ready to begin.
All right. Thank you, Gail, and thank you, CPA Practice Advisor, for having us today. Welcome, everybody. As he said, my name is Stephen Lyon. I'll get to myself here in just a few minutes, but first, I just want to thank everyone for joining today and look forward to having a good discussion on today's topic. Now, before we begin, I know Gail just went over the steps and everything for CPE and the questions, but let's start off with a polling question just to kind of get to know our audience. So we're going to go ahead and get into our first polling question now.
Okay, this is our first question of the day. Who is our audience today? And the options are tax, audit, bookkeeping, other, or all of the above. And go ahead and pick the answer that most closely applies to you. If you have any trouble answering the question, you can post your answer in the Ask a Question box and we'll record it there. So when you enter your answer, just click Submit. And we'll leave that on the screen for 10-15 seconds to make sure everybody gets a chance to post their answer. Okay, and I think just 5 seconds more should do it. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and it looks like our audience is about 65% tax, and then across the board on the other items.
Okay, tax-heavy audience today. That's great. So let's go ahead and jump into it. First, I want to introduce a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Stephen Lyon. I am currently the product marketing lead here at SafeSend. I've been with SafeSend for over 10 years and have worked with firms in going from paper processes to digital. And then now that we are kind of in that digital era, working with firms, on kind of evolving their digital processes, finding good ways to increase efficiency, productivity, things like that. I am from Meridian, Idaho, and I was previously in the military, stationed in South Korea, and went straight from there to SafeSend and have been working with firms since. So really enjoy what we do in the professional aspect of this industry, and look forward to just discussing more with you folks today. So let's take a look at the agenda for today. I'm going to try my best to just not read from slides the whole time, but we're going to talk about SafeSend just a little bit, and then we're just going to talk into kind of like the thought leadership content that we have today and evolving your firm and the need for innovation and things like that. So once we get past introducing SafeSend, we'll talk about some of those things, the innovation, boosting efficiency, preparing for staffing issues, things like that. So again, at any time, if anyone has any questions, please go ahead and put it in the QA. I have a colleague on here that's going to be looking at those questions and answering them real time. And then if it's anything that we want to talk about while I'm going through, we'll go ahead and do that as well. So introduction to SafeSend. Okay, so SafeSend provides tools for the tax and accounting industry. We started out way back in 2008 with our product called Tick Time Calculate. This is essentially just a tool that you added to Adobe Acrobat to enhance your work paper preparation as we moved from paper preparation to digital preparation. And then we just kind of evolved with the times as things got more digital, as paperless items became more popular. We jumped into the space of secure file exchange, releasing a tool that allowed us to transfer documents back and forth securely over email. As e-signature became popular and the IRS approved it, we created an e-signature solution that allowed for the signing of engagement letters and 8879s and things. And ultimately, we kind of brought all of that together to create the flagship product of what we call SafeSend 1 today, and that is returns. Returns is an automated tax return assembly and delivery system where you can actually send a return from your tax software. And we will do an automated recognition and assembly, recognize all those important action items off of it, e-file forms, vouchers, transmittals, etc., and package it up very neatly and send it to your client. They can access it and go through and review, sign, and make payments to any vouchers that they owe, right there in a very simple and easy to use 3-step process. We actually won our first innovation award from CPA Practice Advisor in 2016 for this. We released it for entity returns the following year and won our second innovation award for that feature as well. And from there, we've really just kind of expanded to the entire tax process. Similar solutions for organizers, document gathering, extensions, things like that. So when we talk about what SafeSend does kind of like at a high level, it is the end-to-end solution for tax and accounting firms on the tax process delivery. Okay, from gathering to preparation to delivery, we handle all of the touch points and deliverables between you and your client. So on the gather step, we have the ability to send engagement letters, get electronic signature on those, send document request lists, and those document request lists can be AI generated based on previous year information from the organizer. We send organizers that are converted to fillable, secure file transfer, and send custom questionnaires. A lot of firms are moving away from sending a traditional organizer. So what our gather process allows us to do is create a custom template of questions that just say, hey, these are the questions I do need answered, want answered. And instead of having the client try to fill out that organizer, we can have them fill out that questionnaire and get you the info you need. And then with the partners that we have there for the preparation step, we move into the delivery, which we can deliver returns, extensions, K1 distribution within those returns. And all of this is trackable, reportable, automated reminders for both signing and vouchers throughout the year. Just a bunch of different features throughout this process. And all of that is wrapped up for the client on their side in an unrivaled client experience. 97% KBA, knowledge-based authentication success rate, clean UI, UX, no passwords or account creation or anything like that. They can pay their invoice to you at the firm right there from their experience, make tax authority payments online or print vouchers. So there's just a lot of things that they can do. And that's what we do at kind of like a 10,000 foot view. So when we talk about the history of SafeSend and the usage, when we started with returns, we're only tracking it back in 2017. But if we go all the way back to when it was first released, it was like 12,000 in the first year. But we see we've had a nice, good increase every year in the returns going through our system. More and more clients are adopting a digital solution, and we'll talk about all that a little bit more today. We won't harp on the numbers too terribly high, but this is for returns and what our growth looks like there. Same thing happens for the organizers as we go from the first year it was released to this year. What these numbers really just show us is that your clients, as much as we want to think that maybe they want it paper and some might Some want to keep the status quo and do Sally, same as last year. That more and more folks are adopting digital processes. And throughout the conversation today, we're going to talk about how they're coming to expect it. Okay. So let's go past the numbers here and talk about why we're here, and that is the need for innovation. Okay, so there's a ton of reasons why the need for innovation is crucial. Okay, cost reduction, scalability, growth, data security. But for today, I just want to focus on some things that can really kind of help us in our day-to-day frustrations and work, and that is efficiency, productivity, client service and experience, and employee satisfaction and retention. Okay, so automated technologies, things that are using AI, machine learning, can just overall improve the efficiency and productivity of our processes, right? Automation can handle repetitive tasks. AI can help us generate things in a quicker time and allow us to just edit rather than create significant information from scratch, reducing the time for data entry, report generation, basically frees up a lot more of our time to focus on value-added services. As far as client service and experience, providing simple, accurate, timely, personalized services, cloud-based solutions allow clients to access any financial data or information that they may want to access in real time from anywhere, which in turn kind of enhances transparency with them. And then you, as a firm, can use data analytics that these tools provide to kind of provide deeper insights and strategic advice or strategic workflows on how you deal with clients and client deliverables and things like that. And then when we talk about employee satisfaction and retention, implementing solutions can improve employee satisfaction by kind of the same thing as the efficiency. We reduce mundane tasks and enable them to focus on more meaningful work. Not only does it improve your efficiency and productivity, but it also makes things more enjoyable. So enhancing that job satisfaction, reducing turnover, and really more importantly, and I'll touch on this a lot more later in the presentation, but attracting top talent that is harder for us to find today, that every firm kind of struggles with, right? So we talked about the innovation awards that we have won from CPA Practice Advisor. We actually have won that award 4 times, but we're going to go ahead and talk about that a little bit later. So when we talk about innovation and evolution and things like that, it's really the heart of what we have built here at SafeSend, focusing on solving in quotes, real world problems, things that we are dealing with, but looking past those easy solves and finding solves to problems that don't exist yet. Okay. And that's what we focus on. Now, there's a lot of people that will say like, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Or that's how we have always done it. Or Sally, just do it same as last year because it's easy. And they use these phrases as kind of a barrier to change. And when you're trying to innovate, these phrases are really just used as shields against innovation. There's some folks that want to fight wasted efforts, or they don't want to get caught up in what are perceived as trends. Okay. And that's fine to not want to do that. But at the same time, we need to have the wherewithal to understand that a lot of these innovations can be helpful and take us to the next level. Okay, so I like to point out, I accidentally hit it twice. So Grant Freeland. Okay, Grant Freeland is a senior advisor and senior partner at the Boston Consulting Group. And he wrote an article once, did an interview that kind of talked about this. And he had kind of an answer to, if it ain't broke, why fix it? And his answer is because in the business world, it's wrong. Fixing things before they break, we refer to it as preemptive transformation. And it's an absolute necessity. Okay, preemptive transformation ends up taking less time overall, costing less money, and can increase leadership stability and create more value in anything that we are trying to transform. And this is another quote that he has right here on the screen, is that we're not talking about change for the sake of change. And we're talking about change for the sake of increased growth and continued success. So we should always be looking at how we can innovate, but innovate in the right way. When we talk about AI later, I'll kind of mention this as well. AI is a big buzzword, but we want to make sure that we're not just doing AI for the sake of AI. We want to make sure that we are doing things that are going to lead to success, not only for our business, but for our employees and for our clients. So with that, let's jump into our polling question number 2.
Okay, this is our second polling question. Remember, you'll need to answer 3 of the 4 polling questions in order to qualify for CPE credit. What % of tax return packages did your firm send electronically to clients this filing season? And your answer options are 1 to 25%. 1 to 10%, 11 to 25%, 26 to 50%, 51 to 75%, or 76% or more. So pick the answer most closely aligned with what your experience was during this filing season in 2024, and then click the submit button. Okay, and we'll leave that up there for a little bit longer, but it looks like we're seeing about 40% are in the 76% or more range, which is great. And about 20% are down in the 0 to 10% range, which may include people who aren't tax people.
Yeah, that's good. And that's the numbers that we would kind of expect to see. Is first place is really adopted digital processes, but second are those that still may not be where they want to be.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, I think we can move on.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, everybody. All right, so let's talk about boosting efficiency in the workplace. Now, this is some general things that we can talk about. So just tools and strategies for in-office staff, workflow automation, effective use of collaboration tools. So workflow automation could be many things, right? It can be automating data entry. It could be the automatic scheduling of meetings or some sort of like Calendly tool that we don't have to look at our schedule to create those meetings. It could be managing emails, tools that essentially reduce the time that we spend on routine tasks and minimizing human error. Okay, so the reason that you want to look for tools to do this is really just to focus, again, on more strategic and creative tasks and boost productivity, efficiency in the workplace. There's a number of tools out there, and there's some that do multiple things that can help with a lot of this. And that leads us right into the effective use of those collaboration tools. Okay, so enabling the accountants, tax professionals to collaborate on client files, track project progress. If you're using workflow, share updates instantly through communication methods, making sure that you folks are aligned, reducing the risk of miscommunication or a tracking sheet getting left under a folder or something on someone's desk, enhancing the ability to work together on simple and complex tasks as well, complex tax and financial tasks. Using these tools are just going to make sure that everyone's aligned and everyone is putting their best foot forward. Now, if we talk about best practices for remote staff, remote work technologies are hugely important. Now, when we talk about remote work, I may mention this a little bit later, but the trend that I'm seeing is that remote work is kind of not, I wouldn't say coming to an end. I don't believe it's ever going to go away, but I am seeing at the events that I go to and the discussions that I have with people that we're really wanting people to get back into the offices. That remote work is starting to become a little bit less productive, and we want to get back to being in office with everybody, and that's fine. But if we are going to have remote work technologies, because I don't believe it's ever going to go away, now that it's there, we want to make sure that the tax accounting professionals, the administrators, can perform tasks effectively from any location. So this really what it means is secure access to data through VPNs, product management or workflow tools where we can organize tasks, whether it be Monday, Asana, something like that, tracking deadlines. Really investing in the right remote work technologies ensures that your remote staff can maintain the same level of efficiency as their in-office counterparts. Maintaining productivity and engagement. This is really important as well. And it's something that we've seen in many industries, not just tax and accounting, but the engagement among remote staff. You really need to have deliberate strategies, whether this is regular check-ins. I know we have a lot of Zoom fatigue and things like that, but regular check-ins, virtual team meetings will keep everyone aligned to the firm's goals. And we need to make sure that we're very clear with the expectations that we have of them, and doing that, providing these remote employees with opportunities for professional development, those clear expectations will play a vital role in maintaining that high level of productivity and engagement. We don't want to make them feel like they are on an island if we are giving them that opportunity. We want to make sure that they feel as though they are part of the team and making sure that we keep that productivity up. Now, what about your clients? Hey, so I like this comic here. It's makes me laugh every time I look at it. And so since it's our top priority, what do we mean by digital transformation? Zoom meetings, Slack, don't forget Agile, something with cloud, and making TikTok videos. Maybe we should start with what it doesn't mean. What we want to make sure is that we're providing tools to clients that aren't making their life hard either, and that we are doing things that actually benefit them more than it hurts them. Now, creating multiple logins to multiple accounts to multiple softwares isn't going to help, but we can make sure that we're doing things that are extremely accurate and compliant, making sure that everything is compliant with the latest tax laws, reducing risk of potential penalties, things like that. Time savings. If you can prep and process and deliver faster, that turnaround time allows you and your clients to meet deadlines more quickly and focus on other important financial matters, or maybe we can do financial planning and things for them, offer those services, stuff like that. Cost effectiveness, essentially efficiency, will lead to lower operating costs, translate into more competitive pricing, cost savings for the clients, adding more clients, things like that. Streamlining the communication, keeping them informed, addressing concerns more promptly. If you have some sort of in-app communication or easy way for them to communicate with you or you and your staff to answer back, that's great. Better resource allocation. So specific operational practices will allow you to allocate more time and resources to kind of the strategic planning or personalized advice to the clients, giving you the ability to provide them with like kind of a more tailored and effective strategy for either tax or finances, things like that. And then, of course, just increase client satisfaction. If you give them easy to use tools or tools that are quick, that are accurate, that give them the point where they don't have to ask a lot of questions, it's going to build trust in you that you can handle other things for them. So really providing your clients with those things that they need is going to be a big one. Okay, so moving on to our next section, let's talk about tech stack consolidation. Okay, so tech stack consolidation. Now, what we want to do here, is start by identifying our redundant tools. comprehensive reviews of the software and tools that we're currently using, frequency in which we use each tool or the features in it, involve team members to gather insights on tools they find essential. This is a big one, the involving the team members. We see so many times where we have somebody evaluating a tool that would use it daily, and we get on with somebody that may not use it daily, but they think they know what someone is doing with their day to day, or they think they know what that tool is really providing and think that it doesn't provide value, or it's adding too much value and the team's not using it. So this is really important, that when you're involving, when you involve these team members to look and evaluate these tools, they need to be a part of it, and make sure you have everybody that is in there using it. You may find that someone is using it every single day, while you or a different person in the firm just does not even know that that's something clients use a lot. And this is where data insights and reporting and things can also come in. Recognizing the overlap and the inefficiencies. There's multiple tools out there that have, let's say, file transfer solutions where you can send documents back and forth. Is it the portal? Is it over a Outlook plugin? You can transfer in both. So why are you paying for one if the other provides it? Highlight tools that don't integrate well with other systems, spot areas where manual processes are still prevalent, even if they are advertised as automation. Because if you've ever thought to yourself, like, hey, I want to be able to do something in this software, but it doesn't just do it right away. I have to click all of these different steps and I can get around it. A workaround is a manual process. It is taking away from automation, and it is making you do more work, whether it's 6 clicks versus 12 clicks. It is a manual process. If you say anything is a workaround, it's not automated, right? And we want to evaluate the cost of those things and maintaining these tools. Are you on contract with somebody? Are you able to drop one because you are already provided with the other? A lot of folks have a Microsoft Office 365 account that they run out of their business. That has a lot of tools in it. It has a survey tool. It has a password manager. And are you paying for a separate password manager or a survey tool, things like that? So really identify these things and what you're paying for and where you can kind of reduce those costs. Okay, so select multifunctional tools. Again, choose software solutions that offer a wide variety of functions. Okay, just Office 365, like I said, you have email, you have all of your normal Office accounts, but a lot of you may not know that you can upload videos and stream and get links, just kind of like Sprout or YouTube, where you can host those on a website and they come straight out of your SharePoint account. You have SharePoint, which is the file storage solution. You can do surveys, you can do lots of things in there. You can run polls. So really finding solutions that do multiple things. And that's where, like SafeSend, we have tried to build our solution to say, hey, we handle the organizers, the engagement letter, the returns, the e-signature of anything else, the transfer of documents. We really want to make sure that we are a tool that provides multiple benefits so that you don't have to go and buy DocuSign plus ShareFile plus SafeSend plus this. You know what I mean? So look for tools like that. And obviously the benefits of this: efficiency and productivity, which are going to be a reoccurring theme today. But we don't need to switch between multiple tools. We don't have to have multiple logins going that are going to time out that we have to relog back into. Lower operational costs just by eliminating multiple subscriptions. Okay, improve data accuracy, where it's going to live in smaller places or lesser places, a lessened number of places. That integrate better. Look at those integrations. Do they integrate well with other apps that I'm using? And then what's the onboarding process for a new person, whether it is a new staff that's going to be full-time or it's a seasonal employee? We can onboard them and train them much easier if they have less systems to learn. Okay. Okay. And what about your clients? Well, in today's day and age, clients expect digital collaboration with firms. Okay, really, 2020 has pretty much sealed the book on that. They are looking for a user-friendly, safe place to exchange files, get easy access to their information, and clients expect clear, timely communication regarding their tax matters, whether it's fees, whether it's that it's completed, any change in regulations that may impact them or their business. And in an era of increasing data breaches and concerns over privacy, clients are starting to prioritize data security and privacy a lot more. And they're actually like learning about it, about encryption, about how things are taken, and learning about phishing and social engineering and things like that. And it's becoming regular parts of a lot of their businesses as well. So they expect the same from you. And these collaboration tools that we talk about can kind of bridge those gaps in ways that it's not always easy to navigate for them. And we just want to be careful that even if we consider a solution that is secure, has communication, is very user friendly, not everything works very well together. So we often can add redundancies. So we want to make sure that what we're using is kind of the best way to work together with the clients. So when we talk about those redundancies, to me, I think of client collaboration. Okay. And to me, it can be a pretty disparate mess. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's solution is like this, but I know of many, many firms that I've spoken to over the past that have this, that have these kinds of solutions. Not only do you have email, we can do things paper, and you probably still do. We all almost likely have a e-sign solution, a portal, talk about in-person, and then secure file transfer. Now, for me, if you send a client's tax return over the portal, have them log in, look at it, and then they reply back in email saying, yep, we're good. And then you decide to send the e-file forms over an e-sign solution, you're talking about 3 different channels just right there. To me, that's a disparate mess. I would actually argue that if you were to communicate with that one client, everything paper, even though the paper costs more and you have postage, it takes a little bit more time, that is actually a more seamless and better experience for the client than using multiple channels. So if you're going to communicate with the client, choose one channel and make sure that that channel can provide everything that they need to. Send e-file forms through portal, have them print and sign it, even though you have the e-sign, because now we're talking about going through a separate email, a separate login. They're going to email you back and say, hey, did you get it? Things like that. And look for solutions that can bring all of these steps into one. So again, try not to make it so disparate for your client. Okay, with that, before we go and talk about staffing issues, let's jump into our next polling question.
Okay, this is polling question number 3. The question is, what was your biggest frustration with e-signature on 8879s? And the answer options are: couldn't send with an unknown spouse email address, KBA security questions my clients had to answer, e-sign request email not received, clients are unsure of what to do, or not applicable, or I don't use e-signature. So choose the one that is most closely aligned with your experience. And also, if you are having any trouble answering the question online, remember you can post your answer in the Ask a Question box and we'll record it there. So go ahead and choose one and then click Submit. Okay, we'll leave this up for a few more seconds, but it looks like the answers are coming in primarily with clients are unsure of what to do. And second answer is I couldn't send because I had an unknown spouse email address.
Okay, we'll talk about these once the poll closes.
Yeah, just a few more seconds. I'll leave it up for 5 more seconds and then take it down. So 5, 4, 3, 2, one.
Okay, perfect. So many of you don't use e-signature today. That's fine, but let's go for the two answers that we were talking about there just now. Clients, number one, clients are unsure of what to do. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. Right? That disparate mess creates a break in communication and what they are supposed to do. So you find a solution that not only automates that process, but is focused on providing a simple experience for your client. Step one, step two, step three, and they're done. Now, couldn't send. The next is couldn't send with an unknown spouse email address. SafeSend is one of them, but there are other solutions out there too where you don't actually need to know the spouse email. This has been a headache for firms in the past where they either share one or you just don't have it and you have to go chase and find it. So with these solutions out there, you can find them where we put that responsibility on the first signer. The email you do have, put it on that first signer and let them enter their spouse email things. And again, SafeSend can do that, but we can talk about that at a different time if you folks are interested. All right, so let's talk about I see a question here real quick. I chose KBA because I had clients that were too young with limited credit history to complete KBA. Yep, Stephen, that definitely is something, and different KBA solutions will provide different strategies. Like a lot of things like DocuSign, Right Signature, they'll look at credit history only 60 years back. But we do have the ability to say, okay, let's focus on other things other than credit history. Let's look at DMV records. Let's look at insurance records. Let's look at the public records available in Washington, D.C. And we can really go through and actually compile questions that aren't necessarily tied to credit history. Some of them even use Uber and DoorDash, just to reference if that name and address have been used recently. It's not going to say, hey, what did you have for lunch yesterday? That would be wild, but no. But it does reference that name and address and make sure that it's in use and it's active and that person is working. Okay, so staffing issues. This has always been a problem for our industry. I remember years ago, before 2020, and we were talking about staffing issue because it's always just been something that we've had to deal with in this industry. Now, there's a few different strategies for managing these. Okay, there's really only two in my opinion. We'll talk about that on the next slide. But all three of them is finding, attracting new talent, which everyone has a hard time with. Outsourcing work to a service or a different firm. This is a good option, but it's not without its risks and frankly, its costs, right? It costs a lot. You have IT security risks, you have integration dilemmas, inadequate tech support. It's really just not the best option. And then utilizing technology. This is kind of really the only option that everybody should try and adopt. Now, again, in my eyes, there's two options, and that is number one, hire additional staff, which again, we're all struggling with. Everyone is trying to add more people and there are less people to add. Okay. So really option two becomes the one that everyone has to do as a backup to option one. And that is to retain your current staff and get more productivity out of them. And this is where companies like SafeSend and SurePrep and Canopy and all of us are trying to be more helpful, is to get more out of your staff. So when we talk about utilizing these technologies, what we want to do is use this to automate manual tasks, right? Eliminate that to increase productivity, efficiencies, all of that. And why? It's really just to reduce frustration. Reduce frustration in handling client loads, using these tools to do the same amount of work with less staff. When we talk about less staff, a lot of people go, wait, not less staff. And we're not suggesting that you reduce staff, but what we are suggesting is being prepared for a staffing shortage that might be even harder than what we're already currently dealing with. So that staff retention of eliminating those repetitive, mind-numbing tasks, allowing them to focus on more value-added services and contribute at a higher level, and reducing those times that they're spending manually on, putting stacks of paper together, stuffing envelopes, creating paper organizers, making binders and things. This will allow you to do more with less. Okay. Now, when we talk about these technologies, we talked a little bit about the beginning that some people like to use certain phrases as shields against change. Okay. And really, the important thing here is that technology is not going to solve this problem alone. Now, sometimes it's not about finding new staff, or it's not even about making your current staff be able to do more, right? It might be a problem with the staff you already have or leadership that might exist within the firm. So this here is what I refer to as a concrete head, and that is someone who just does not want to evolve their technology adoption. This will create issues. Okay. And they use a bunch of different reasons to shield us from that innovation. Number one, my clients want it in paper. Okay. This is just silly. Some people may want it in paper, but a majority of people, when they say my clients want paper, I ask, well, have you asked them? And they say, no, I just assume. And that's because that's the old way of thinking. And we don't want to move away from that because we think our clients prefer it. Okay? My clients are too old. Our research shows that even older clients are becoming more and more progressive in their technology adoption. And when we talk about the 1040s that are sent through SafeSend in general, I think it's 36% of the 1040s that go through our system, that go through KBA, that successfully e-sign and use our system to make payments to their authorities online. It's like 36% of them are 60 and older. So a really good chunk get through it. And they actually get through it very easily because they take the time to read. They stop and they look through and follow the steps, and they get through it quite easily. This is my largest client, and I need to justify fees. Your largest client expects you to do the best job possible with the best tools possible. They are not going to care that you're doing things more efficiently or using tools to make things more accurate and getting things done in a more timely fashion. Again, just silly. I'm already sending it digital with a portal. That is great. Sending digital is great, but we need to evolve our digital processes. Portals provide issues. Most firms, they will only see 30% of portal adoption. A lot of clients will only use the portal once a year, and they will forget their password year over year, and your staff will have to field questions about how to reset the password, how to access, where do I find things. Although it's good storage, it is not really great for client delivery. Okay. My client doesn't want to learn a digital solution. We've talked about this a couple times today already. Your clients are ready, and more clients are readier than ever to learn these digital processes that make their life easier. I know some of us still probably have some filing cabinets, but I can guarantee you that a lot of the younger folks out there do not have an office with filing cabinets in it with copies of their tax returns going back. So they do want to learn digital solutions. And then lastly, I don't want to change. Again, this might be the silliest one. In order to grow, in order to evolve, in order to take you and your firm and your employees to the next level, reduce and eliminate your client frustration, you need to change. Okay. All right. So let's wrap it up here with some final thoughts. So, importance of staying updated with new technologies. Okay. The benefits of efficiency and AI tools used in the right way. Okay. A lot of us are hearing AI, generative AI, or whether it's a task-based AI. We want to make sure that what we're evaluating provides an actual benefit. Now, there's a lot of folks out there that are saying, well, we have AI in it. You really need to ask yourself, what does that mean? Okay. AI tools used in the right way, providing a clear and actual solve to a problem. Okay, just not AI for AI's sake. We want to make sure that it is eliminating a task for us, or it is accomplishing something good for the client. In an example, in SafeSend, in our gather process, we use AI in two pointed ways. It's not just AI to say we have AI. We say we have AI for these two problems. Number one, we use AI to generate a document request list based on that previous year organizer. So the AI reads what they provided to you and then generates a new document request list, eliminating the need for you to create that document request list manually. On the client side, when they see their document request list and the client, say, drags and drops 30 files in, SafeSend will recognize all of those, and AI will read them and assign those or automatically recognize which of those requested items they have uploaded, and it will start checking it off automatically. Yep, we got your Disneyland W-2, we got your Wells Fargo W-2, thank you. And we'll start marking that off automatically so that they eliminate the search and find, or if things are named a little bit differently. Okay. And all of this stuff is really just going to help them. And encouragement to embrace new technologies. This is a call to action for all of you to innovate. If you're not innovating, a number of you aren't using e-sign. That is the way right now. Okay. We need to be e-signing. We need to be making our clients' life easier, allowing them to access from their phones, from their iPads, from their computers while they're on vacation, things like that. So think about those things as well. Oops. So what can SafeSend in general offer the firm? So what we want to do is just standardize your assembly and delivery of your returns, regardless of return type. We streamline your reporting and tracking. We shrink assembly time, and we simplify the client experience, giving them step-by-step experiences that walk them through exactly what they need to do, leaving no questions on the table. They will get through it. You will get your items back signed. They will be able to make payments or complete it without having to call you. And then, of course, cloud access, enabling staff to work anywhere and clients to be served remotely. So with that, let's go ahead and do our last polling question for this.
Okay, this is our fourth polling question, and it is, are you interested in learning more about SafeSend 1? And your answer options are yes, no, I just want the CPE and no contact, or I'm not the right person to answer. So choose the answer that's most appropriate for you, and then click submit. And Steve, let me ask you a quick question while we're waiting for these answers to come in. And that is, and I'm sure you get asked this all the time, which tech software programs does SafeSend currently work with? And are there any others on the horizon?
Yeah, absolutely. Great question. So today we currently support CCH Access and ProSystem, FX, Intuit Lacert, and then Thomson Reuters UltraTax and GoSystem. We have direct integration with UltraTax, GoSystem, Lacert, and Access. So a couple of these are push integrations where you will actually see SafeSend right from the print screen of the return in the tax software, and that will send the return directly to us. For Access specifically, it's a pull integration. So you'll actually go into SafeSend, link to Access, and then it will show all the returns that are completed and ready, and then you pull those from Access over to us. On the horizon, I can't say that we have anything on the horizon like right away. If it were up to me, and this is just if it were up to me as the marketing guy, I would want to see us support Drake hopefully in the future. But we do not currently today. Okay. So if anybody answered yes, we'll get in touch with you. If anybody, is just not the right person to answer or not right now or anything like that, you can always find out more on our website at safesend.com. But lastly, I'd just like to point out we're here for you. And whether you go with SafeSend or some other technology, it really is that you need to look at what your practices are as a firm and what can you change, what can you eliminate, or what can these softwares and technology tools help you with. Evaluate what your staff is doing. Evaluate what they're spending the most time on. There is a firm here in Murray in Idaho that I talked to that actually they just went around and not as like a thing, like a competition or anything, but they did use like stopwatches just to see like, okay, hey, this one task, how much time are we spending on it in a day when we're having someone reorder pages and stuff it in an envelope? And they found that they were spending a lot of time doing that. And so they found a tool that could, an AI tool that could actually take the PDF, reorder the pages for them automatically and print it out so that when they pull it out of the printer, it's good to go, and they shaved off half the time that they were working on it. So there's little things that you can do to really just benefit you overall. So before, let me make sure that there's no questions. Okay, I have a few more questions here. Tax Act, we do not support Tax Act at this time. We do not support ProConnect. We are looking into ProConnect, but we do not support it at this time. Not ATX. We do not. Nope. So the only software we support today is Access, ProSystemFX, Intuit Lacert, Thomson Reuters Go System, and UltraTax. And I think that is all the questions.
All right. Stephen, we want to thank you for an excellent presentation and lots of food for thought. And we hope all of you attending today enjoyed this webinar. We want to thank you all for your time and thank SafeSend for making this event possible and for enabling us to offer a free CPE credit to each attendee. As a reminder, you'll receive a link to your CPE certificate later today in your email. If there are other people watching this event with you, please send me their names and email addresses so we can issue certificates to them. I can be reached at gperry, G-P-E-R-R-Y, at cpapracticeadvisor.com. So, and if you have any questions about CPE, feel free to contact me. Again, that's gperry, G-P-E-R-R-Y, at cpapracticeadvisor.com. After we close this event, you'll be presented with a brief survey on screen. We would appreciate it if you would fill out that evaluation form so we can continue to improve our series. Any questions that we didn't get to today, we will respond to via email. We have one last question about the slides. The slides are not available for download. However, this webinar will be posted in its archived version on our website, cpapracticeadvisor.com/webinars. And you can watch it again there and screenshot any slides that you wanted to make a copy of. I think that's everything. Thank you, everyone, for your time today, and our audio will end now.